Trump tried to humiliate Barack Obama, but it backfired. Instant life evening was supposed to be elegant. Inside a glittering ballroom in Phoenix, the city's elite had gathered business leaders in tailored suits, celebrities draped in designer outfits, and politicians smiling for the cameras. It was a charity gala meant to raise funds for a noble cause. The atmosphere was warm, full of laughter and polite conversation, but everything changed when Donald Trump stepped up to the microphone. With his usual bravado, Trump scanned the crowd and then shifted his gaze toward Barack Obama, who was seated just a few rows away. A smirk spread across Trump's face. He leaned closer to the mic and said something about Obama's so-called leadership, his words dripping with sarcasm. He clearly expected laughter, maybe even applause, to echo across the hall. Instead, silence. The audience didn't laugh. They looked uncomfortable, waiting to see what would happen next. All eyes turned to Obama. Some whispered nervously, others leaned forward in anticipation. Obama slowly rose from his chair. He didn't rush. He adjusted his suit, walked to the stage with calm confidence, and stood just a few feet away from Trump. The tension in the room was so thick you could almost feel it in the air. Then, with a slight smile, Obama spoke. His voice was steady, his tone calm. He didn't match insult with insult. Instead, he delivered a sharp yet dignified response, a single statement that cut through the air like a blade. It was precise, thoughtful, and impossible to argue with. For a moment, there was silence, and then the crowd exploded. Applause, cheers, even a standing ovation. People were clapping so hard the sound bounced off the walls. Some guests whistled, others shouted in support. Cameras flashed as Obama stood tall, barely raising his voice, yet commanding the entire room. Trump's smirk was gone. He stood frozen, shifting uncomfortably as the cheers grew louder. The line he thought would embarrass Obama had backfired completely. Instead, he was the one left humiliated in front of the very audience he hoped to impress. The rest of the evening carried a new energy. People weren't whispering about Trump's remark anymore. They were talking about Obama's composure, his poise, and the lesson he had delivered without breaking a sweat. That moment wasn't about politics anymore. It was about leadership. It was about the difference between noise and substance, between arrogance and respect. And as the night drew to a close, one truth became clear: when faced with mockery, dignity will always win. Even today, people who were in that room describe it as unforgettable, a moment they'll tell for years to come. A moment when Obama reminded the world that true strength isn't about speaking the loudest, but about standing tall when others try to pull you down. Enjoying this content? Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.